China is a place where you can see and feel thousands of years of history. And yet at the very same time, it's also a place that leads the world in modern technology and everything in between. My luxury list takes me all around the world, and there's no better place than China to see how it all comes together in perfect harmony. We'll tour one of the largest airport production kitchens ever.
In the kitchen, in the production department, what we have is approximately 500 people.
Wow. my staff is about 40 and I have my hands full, so I don't know how you do it, I really don't. Kill an afternoon with Jean-Georges, a Michelin 3-star chef in Shanghai.
Is there anything that you've learned here in Asia that you brought back with you to make your North American restaurants better?
Absolutely.
Attend Hong Kong's largest wine show, or simply explore all the amazing street eats China has to offer. These are some awesome experiences, and they're all part of the luxury list. There are many kinds of life-changing events that can happen to any one of us at any time. Sometimes they're planned, but really often not. You never know what incredible experiences lie around the corner. When I think about China, the first word that comes to mind is spiritual. The rich history of thousands of years of dynasties that have come and gone, a culture that has been nurtured and endured for centuries. To have the opportunity to just hang out on a private part of the Great Wall of China and feel so incredibly small as you're engulfed by an ancient wonder of the world that spans as far as the eye can see, can humble even the most seasoned of travelers. There is so much to see and do all over China, as all provinces are so distinctly different. And once you've made the trip that far, why not take advantage and experience the best the world has to offer? It's one thing to travel around the world alone, but when you get the chance to travel with wine, food, and cultural writers who have brilliant thoughts and opinions, then it all becomes about perspective. What a better place than China to discuss and debate the old and the new simultaneously.
Shelley, on this adventure, you are the cultural writer. And as we've traveled all through China, what are your thoughts?
Well, I've been surprised by how modern almost everywhere we've gone in China is. And it's been a real mix of the old and the cultural history and the new to me and the modern. So that's been surprising and also really, really interesting.
What was your biggest surprise being here?
The distinguishing differences between each of the cities and how unique each city was. It's incredible how many visit-worthy and traveling-worthy cities there are.
We've been in places that are just quintessentially China, where things have not changed in hundreds, if not thousands of years. And some amazing architecture, some of the temples that we've been to, and the historical sites. And then you can be in places where you're walking down the street and you might be in Amsterdam, or you might be in Paris. And that was quite surprising. I've enjoyed seeing all of that type of architecture, and I think even in the last 4 and 5 years, China has modernized an incredible amount.
Culturally, what was your highlight on this trip?
Culturally, I think going to the commune at the Great Wall was pretty amazing.
Commune by the Great Wall actually has private access to a certain part of the Great Wall, which is almost a concessionary agreement.
Yes.
Can you explain that to me?
Absolutely. We have basically on property a hidden path, no signage, no nothing, so you really have to find it by yourself or get good advice at reception, where exclusively to hotel guests you can walk that hidden path. It would take you about 15 minutes, and you would end up on the unrestored, so I'm really the unrestored original part of the Great Wall as it was for many hundred years now.
And once you look over the edge, it's just endless valley and mountain range, and you can see the wall for miles and miles and miles, and absolutely breathtaking. It really is.
It's one of the few spots in China where I felt I was truly alone.
I don't think many people have that experience to visit a part of the Great Wall that is the same as it was 1,000+ years ago, with no one else around, and it was a really special experience.
Did you ever wonder what it takes to make the meals you've had on a flight? Let's face it, you're not the only plane in the sky. And if you're a foodie like me, then a sneak peek at what goes on behind the doors at Beijing's International Airport will absolutely blow your mind. Those are some big numbers. This is your hot production kitchen.
That's correct.
Who are you producing for here?
We produce all the food for Star Alliance members here. Air China and Star Alliance.
How many plates a day is your team producing?
All in all, for everything for Air China, 45,000.
Air China alone is 45,000.
That's correct.
Then all together, total Star Alliance?
Around 70 to 75,000 meals a day.
A day?
A day.
Every day?
Every day.
365 days a year?
Yes, sir.
400 or 500 kilos of just shredded lettuce, only for today's flight.
That's only for today's flight.
Those kind of numbers are huge, and I'm looking at big things of rice here. What's going on, and how much rice are you going through?
This is our rice machine with a molding apparatus in front. You produce approximately 1.5 tons of rice will be cooked with this machine on a daily basis.
Wow. That's a lot of bags.
Absolutely.
I've never seen this machine before. What exactly does this do?
It's a sanitation machine from all the vegetable, what comes in.
And I've also noticed, though, so many different plates are being used. How do they know what plates to use for which dishes?
Now, each airline has their own plates.
How do they know which ones belong to who?
Because underneath you have, it's written here.
How many grams should each plate be?
Each plate should be around 260 grams.
260, okay. You ready for the challenge? So I will grab this one.
Okay.
Okay. And this should be 260.
260.
Okay. 262.
Here we go. 1 gram difference.
Very impressive, Chef. Anytime I see fire, I love it. Exactly what are you doing here and who's it for?
Okay, this is what we do here for Air China, first class and business class, all the hot meals. And they want that we do the traditional Chinese wok fry style. That's what they do.
And does that give it a fresher perspective on the meal?
Absolutely. You have the flavor and the burniness and the smokiness of the Chinese wok.
All clean. Coming up next, we'll spend some time with the infamous chef Jean-Georges on the Bun in Shanghai. And then we'll jump over to Hong Kong and crash a wine tasting and check out what China is uncorking as they usher in a new era and move from liquor to wine. Is that really possible? I don't define luxury in terms of assets and toys. Rather, I define luxury in terms of experiences. To eat in a Michelin 3-star restaurant and then get into the mind of the chef himself to see what makes him tick, well, that's all the experience I need. Oh, and by the way, in an economic downturn, life experiences can never be taken away. Just saying. When you were choosing a second location for Jean-Georges, what was your motivation to come to Shanghai when you could have gone anywhere in the world?
I think it was Shanghai who chose me. You know, when Mrs. Lim, who owns the building here, approached me like about 8 years ago, I liked the idea, especially because I spent 5 years of my life in Asia. I thought it was a good time to come here. I wanted to be part of the boom of Shanghai.
Shanghai is a city that's developing so quickly. How have you noticed the change in the last 5.5 years?
I mean, tremendous. I don't know how many buildings. I mean, the restaurant scene is like, you know, we were the only game in town 5 years ago. I mean, that's kind of a, you know, French, modern restaurants, but now it's like everywhere. Every other block you have a building with like 5, 6 restaurants, and so the food scene has changed tremendously, for the better. You know, I mean, it's like Faster than New York, faster than any city I know in the world.
So do you find that there are dishes that you want to make that may even be signature you, but you can't do it because you can't find the local ingredients?
No, I think I would say 5 years ago, the answer would be yes. Today, no. Everything is here. You know, you couldn't find a beautiful piece of tuna 5 years ago, but you have it today. I mean, the clientele changed as well. You know, when we started here 5 years ago, there was the restaurant had probably 80% expats, people from the world. Today, our clientele is, I would say, changed to 70% of locals. It's becoming a big food city. I mean, I feel like Shanghainese are as demanding as New Yorkers in terms of food, service. You know, they like the food, they like the freshness. And I think for me, when you cook food, the first bite of your plate has to be as exciting as the last one.
How do you find Asians are now taking to wine with dinner?
Oh yeah, I think Asians are really keen to their wines as well now. They really appreciate good wines.
How long do you think it's going to be until China's producing better wines than Bordeaux?
Well, that will take a little while. I mean, it's all about terroir on the end, you know, the local, you know, there's all vines, but as well the terroir.
Jean-Georges, it was an absolute pleasure and an honor to spend an afternoon with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for including me.
So we're crashing a huge wine tasting event in Hong Kong. Why? Because we can, and it's fun. I'm not sure though if me trying to be inconspicuous and then coming in with cameras, lights, and the crew was the right way to go. But we didn't get thrown out, and no one got hurt.
Now you import these wines specifically for the Hong Kong market or larger than that?
And China.
And China.
China is really a big market.
And which provinces are you distributing in China?
Oh, in fact, I go to the big cities, Shanghai, Beijing, and Shenzhen.
This is from Italy?
Yeah, all from Italy. 7% alcohol.
France has taxes and duties on imports on wine. What are your thoughts on Hong Kong eliminating those taxes and duties?
Now, due to this decision to cut the tax, we have increased a lot our sales to Hong Kong, and after that we use Hong Kong like a hub to address the rest of Asia, especially mainland China.
Are you noticing that the consumption rate is going up or is it stable?
Going up year by year. Getting more and more people to drink the wines. They get more familiar with the wines, particularly for the red wines. They love it. But they drink not in the same way as we do.
What's the differences?
They swallow.
They swallow it?
Yes.
As opposed to savor it?
No, they toast and they lay bottoms up.
Gambé.
Gambé, exactly.
Tell me something, why do I see so little California and U.S. representation here?
I think mainly because for a while the prices just kept going up.
I mean, there's just so much Bordeaux and so much Burgundy here, and that is much more expensive than the California wines, and that's not a problem.
That's true, that's true. I think it's a matter of brand recognition. But you get a lot of cult wines that people in Hong Kong don't understand, except for your, you know, Harlan Estate, your Screaming Eagle, but they're all beyond most people's budget. And if you're going to pay $3,000 or $4,000 for a bottle of wine, I think the safe bet is the Bordeaux wines. That's the mentality.
Hong Kong wants to be the new reference, not only on a wine industry, on a wine distribution activities, but also on a wine combined with a tourism dedicated to the wine. And this package is a new trend and a heavy trend regarding the habit of the consumers.
Now, are you telling me that Spanish wines in Hong Kong and Asia are moving more than U.S. wines?
Oh yes, unfortunately it is. I guess it's what we call the old world wine with a new world twist. You know, Spain has the warmest climate in Europe, and because of their warm climate, they have very, very strong new world characteristics in their wines. And now they've discovered the old vines and the ancient vineyards and producing very, very strong and powerful wines. And they're actually, you know, evolving around the market. Of all the old world countries, the Eurozone, Spanish wine are the best value.
What do you think Asia's next move is in the world of wine as they are growing so rapidly?
As the China's government has decided to motivate the people to taste and appreciate the wine, because the wine is considered like a light alcohol.
I'm hopeful that over the next 5 years, we're going to have this talent pool growing and growing and growing so that we can get good professional people with knowledge and experience into the industry on the supply side. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you.
Coming up next, we scour the streets of China looking for the ultimate food experience known as street eats. Why? Because we had nothing else to do. There's a huge misconception that all things luxury must be high-end and expensive. Albeit, sometimes that's true, but don't forget to stop and smell the flowers from time to time, because you just might miss some of the cheapest and best luxuries in life. In this case, I'm talking about street eats. That's really good. This soup is great, actually. You're going to really enjoy it. That was ginger.
That was garlic.
That was ginger. What flavor are you getting off this?
It's like the skin underneath the crust of fried chicken.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Really, really tasty.
As a food writer, how would you summarize your 2 weeks in China?
Overwhelming.
Like all these wild flavors, like that, like the pork, like the fried pork chops with those crunchy peppers, which was, I mean, that was amazing.
I mean, the number of dishes and the delicious dishes that come out, everything is so flavorful and unique. You can learn so much just by trying dishes that you wouldn't normally even know to order when you're back home.
We had the pleasure of really traveling to so many different provinces, north, east, southwest, all over China. And every area that we were in, the food was distinctly different.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on that?
It definitely was different. Even something that we had consistently along the way, such as the mini dumplings, we had that at virtually every meal, certainly in every region, and they were all very different still. So it was great tasting the different flavors of the different regions, and we really did have some amazing food.
The beauty of Chinese food.
I mean, with a low-end budget, I mean, it's super easy. You just take out 100 RMB and you just let yourself go for a full day. You just pick any direction, you pick anything you want to do and just wander around. Because the thing about China is there's so many street eats everywhere you walk to. I mean, it's not like a one quarter or one section. It's just street eats are such an integral part of the culture that you walk down the road, there's a kebab salesman, there's a person selling fresh steamed buns right from the steamer, and so you can just do whatever you want to do and just like let your curiosity guide you.
And also the different influences such as European influences. When we were in Shanghai, having the experience at Jean-Georges and the Bund 18 of the French influence in the food. I wasn't really expecting that either.
Oh my God, that is decadent.
That is really good pork.
Amazing.
I'm really liking that flavor, and it's not bland at all. That's a full flavor.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh my God.
The average local restaurant, the dishes are really, really, really inexpensive, maybe $3-4 for a giant entree. I mean, on the street you could have like a 4-course lunch for maybe $2 or $3 US, and that includes maybe 2 giant beers. But the high-end restaurants definitely are going to be pretty comparable as far as price-wise to, I'd say, a good American restaurant.
Oh, wow. Ridiculously good.
And I really did find that with all the heat that they put into the dishes in all various parts of China, there's really nothing that I wanted more than a beer.
Yeah, well, especially the beers in a lot of these places are really low alcohol beers, and so you can drink a lot of them. It's almost like a substitute for water. It's more just something to accompany food.
I think I enjoyed my dining experiences in Shanghai, particularly because of the street food scene in that one alley that we visited. The dishes there were incredible. But obviously, I mean, there are memorable dishes in each city that I went to.
That's the great thing about China is that you can go really high or really low. The experience, you're going to have, I won't say they're equally good food, but they're just different forms of deliciousness, you know. You could have dripping the kebab over your socks and shoes on the ground, or you could go to a really amazing restaurant and that you're going to find, like, it's pretty much the most insanely beautiful setting and delicious wines and delicious liquors, and you can have a great experience doing that too.
It was so good. So good is right.
Wow. So, what's luxury? Is it something expensive? Is it something rare? I think it can come in almost any form, but the ones I'm interested in the most is a feeling and an experience. I found that in China. From being on the Great Wall to visiting Shanghai and eating in fantastic restaurants, wandering around and finding the hidden gems of street eats, and doing it all with a great bunch of friends. To me, that's an experience and a luxury I don't want to miss. All these awesome places that we visited can be done by almost anyone and is not reserved for only a few fortunate people. I'm Jody Ness. Join me next time as we celebrate the best the world has to offer on The Luxury List.